Start.
Namaste to everyone. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Shiva, Hare Jesus, Hare Allah, whatever you believe. Hare Hare. And today we are going to start a series of talk. Actually, the most important thing between the humans is the conversation. When you have a conversation, this conversation always gives you knowledge, always uplifts your life. So today I have my very beautiful friend with us from France, and he has lived a lot of his life in India, traveling in different places, learning the different musics from different paramparas. He's gathering the spiritual knowledge and devoting his life on the path of devotion. So I will like you to introduce with my friend, and I will like him to speak something about you, like how you came here and how it was your experience.
Yes, thank you, and I'm very happy to be part of this serial of discussion. It's enthused me because I also feel like you, like sharing, and is the first layer for caring, and this is on the path to love. So. Like I was born with the name of Vincent or Vincent, and it comes from a Latin word which means victory. So when I heard that, oh, it makes victory. What is my victory?
Yeah.
I was born in a family of artists. Both my father, mother, and one of my grandmother were very liking to create and create beauty. So I think they are my first teachers, my first gurus. Because even when I later entered into the philosophical research, my understanding was that on top of that is the beauty. So I have to find the philosophy which brings me beauty.
Wow. Beautiful.
And happiness.
Beautiful.
And so I passed years with my brother. I had an elder brother who were playing music. My sister, little younger sister, was also part. And we loved to play theater, whatever, to please our father and mother.
Wow, wow, wow.
So
Here I would like to ask, like when you was a kid, like, and
Yeah.
you got a connection with the music by birth from your parents and family.
Yeah.
Like how you see, like how your friends used to see this, like when you go to school and you have friends who study with you, how they see your interest towards the music.
Yeah, actually, they were not understanding. And for that, I was not a happy schoolboy. Because I could feel that these boys, because we were already separated from boys and girls. Yeah, very sad.
Yeah.
And
Of course, this is the saddest thing in the world, that the man and a woman are being separated from their childhood. We are being separated not physically, mentally, socially, but also emotionally and spiritually. This is the one thing which is really spoiling this world. So we continue with him. Yeah.
yeah. So what I could see there was like more like competition. But from my family, even my cousin brother was also into music. So like we were just connected to those who were into art. And a lot of my family members, like cousin brother, cousin sister, were into that due to my grandmother.
Wow. Wow.
So we were quite lucky because on weekends, on vacations, we were united and playing. And my father and mother both were playing also. They were playing music, but they were playing whatever, theater, disguise. The cooking was always creative. Everything was creative. The motto was creative.
Yeah. So what's the one of the instant you remember from your childhood, from when your grandmother was there, like, and your father mother was apart? Any instant which is in your memory, like, wow, I just
Yeah.
like.
Oh yes. What I remember most is my youth, because it was so enlivening. And they were like, for example, for the birthdays, they were asking the one who is his birthday to go and play somewhere, not come back to the house.
Oh wow.
And until some time, and then I would arrive in the house that I knew, and I would not recognize inside. It was all changed, repainted, some tree inside, whatever, any idea, and it was never the same. So that's why I bow as my spiritual masters, my first spiritual master, my mother and my father, because what I understood, why I went into devotion, is because it's all about that. Devotion means to give, not to take. And the pleasure you receive of giving is superior than any other pleasure. To have the power, or it's, yes, when you don't have power, when you get to reach the power, you feel something happy. But like a child, when he is playing with his toy, if a better toy come, he will forget that toy.
Yeah, definitely. That is what is happening with our mind, you know, like you get one desire, you achieve this desire, then you forget about this desire, you have a new desire into your head to manipulate.
Yeah.
To get manipulated by your own mind.
Yes. Yes.
But the good thing I liked in your life story that you had a very good family, and like the family environment was there. My friends, I want to share here this thing that the children who get the family environment in their childhood, they are really more happier people than the others, and they are more responsible people than the others, and they have more peace in the heart. They are not worried so much. So I always will appreciate this, like however is possible. If the family thing is not happening, then also you should be with your friends like a family, because we are humans. Without this community thing, we cannot survive. Like if I understand correctly, that society was created for helping each other, not for harming each other, or not for jealousing from each other, not for taunting on each other. It was just created for helping each other.
Yes.
And this is the beauty of the family. So how this idea came into your head that you want to come to India?
Oh yeah, very young. I remember I was really a small kid, and one day my mother took me, because maybe I was not able to go to school. I don't remember the detail, but they took me to a big go down where all toys are collected for the shops. During the, this Western tradition, we have this Christmas, and it's all about toy, because it's the best industry. The children, they want to receive their gifts. So I was in that go down, and it was very interesting, because it was toys from all over the world. And it was not machine made. It was no plastic at that time. Maybe there was some things made of plastic. I don't remember very well, but like in that go down, it was amazing. Like all these toys, kite, I mean, and all the things were handmade, and nothing like no two pieces the same. And I was like, they were looking for what they needed, and I was just by myself and looking everything. And at the point, I remember my eyes catch a very little statue of a sister, a Christian sister in sari from Mother Teresa. They were doing that to sell for collecting money to give to the poor and the diseased people in Calcutta. And that little statue, I remember I stopped looking anything else. I was just looking that statue, and I don't know where my mind was going, but I was in ecstasy.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And then I remember my mother came and say, "Oh, we are finished. Do you want to come? Please come. We're going." And she saw that I'm looking that without changing my position of eye. And then she said, "Oh, you are interested in this one? You want it?" I said yes, and then she bought it. I brought it back in the house, and I knew it explained me it's so fragile. I will not be able to play with other toys because it may break easily. It was made of clay, and uncooked clay, so it was dried. Very beautiful and very perfectly done. Like it was very small, but still, like I was in love with that person. So beautiful person. And I kept it on my shelf, and it was like my altar.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. That's really beautiful. That's really beautiful. Actually, you know, like by the story, I also got this. Like you have seen the life before plastics.
I've seen the life
Before plastic bags.
Yes, yes. Oh yeah, yeah.
I also remember this time from my childhood.
Yes.
Like we remember this life when there was no plastic bags. Nobody was giving you plastic bags anywhere in any shops. You was just getting these paper bags, you know, like which was made from either newspaper or something.
Yeah.
So even if you go to take sugar in like villages of India, you go
Yes.
to take sugar or something, they give you this in paper bag.
Yes, yes.
And you have to hold this paper bag because there was no something like this. You can go carelessly.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
it was like you have to hold it very carefully and move with it.
So
It was like a kind of thing sometimes I see, like if I give this now to some children, they cannot take it home.
it would be wasted.
Because they will not be so careful about it. And the plastic has given not only the pollution in the earth, the plastic has also polluted our mind. We became much more careless and much more irresponsible because of the use of the plastic. Because anything which human use, it affects his conscious and unconscious brain with his physical body. So we are the lucky one. We have seen the
We are
life
the lucky-
before the one.
Yeah.
And I want our children to be the lucky one also, that they can see the life beyond the plastic. So I will request you all to minimize the effect, minimize the use of thin plastics. If you cannot avoid plastic, absolutely, I totally understand that you use, I'm also using this selfie stick which has a lot of plastic in it. So you cannot avoid it 100%ly, but thin plastics which you are taking from shops, which you are buying clothes or something like this, try to avoid it. And especially in India, please avoid this plastics which is used in vegetables and other things. I can show you in every city, this is the main reason of all the garbage and dirt you see all around.
Yeah.
And you cannot decompose this plastic. So please avoid it consciously by yourself. Just you need to take a bag from your home and you need to go and do your shopping and you come back.
Yeah.
In this way, if we all contribute, I think our childhood, which we have seen before plastic, our children can see a world after plastic. So it would be a very beautiful contribution from all of us, and I will request you all to contribute in it. So that's like beautiful thing I just catch from your story, that like we have seen the life before plastic.
Yes.
Where like I remember the time, you know, like when I now walks in the cities, everywhere is like this garbage. And I remember the time when I was a kid and I was traveling with my father to different cities, there was no garbage. There was proper drainage system.
Yes.
Like the population is also one reason in this country, you know, like sometimes Westerners come here and they don't understand why it is happening. I will say that the population is also one reason here. That's why it is giving in. Not having proper infrastructure is also one reason behind it. And the most important thing is not the population, not the infrastructure. Most important thing is mentality.
Yes.
Mentality is the reason for all pollution in India. There is no other reason. If your mentality is worked out, you can really make this land as a beautiful land. It has been always a beautiful land. So with your story that you have attracted to the Mother Teresa statue, and like you felt like after that, like when you plan to go, like okay, now I am done with this and I want to go to India to travel or see at least, like when it started.
Yeah, I was maybe 20, 21 or 22. I don't exactly remember the time. I'm 66 now, so these past times of my life are less clear, but I remember that after this statue, later came the Shivanatharaj. Like there was quite a lot of exchange between Europe countries due to England and India, and we had a lot of things coming from India. And then I remember like seeing in shops, in apartments, the Buddha statue, and I was attracted to the Shivanatharaj.
Oh wow!
Yeah, very much.
Actually, Shivanatharaj is the statue which is like one of the most scientific statue, and this statue is also placed in the laboratory of NASA. So when you enter in NASA, this is a statue is also over there.
Yes.
So it is the inspiration not only for the spiritual people, it is also an inspiration for the scientific people for scientific research.
Yes.
So Nataraja is wow. Yes, of course it's not Raja.
Nataraja. Yes. It's I mean, he plays because what attracted me then was like the presentation of consciousness is the most important part we have to focus on. Because I received, like I was 16, I remember. First I was in a queue of cinema, waiting for my turn to enter. And the Hare Krishna people came with their kirtan, distributing sweets, cakes, whatever. And I remember my hesitation, like I was attracted spontaneously, what is that? And then I realized, oh, I will lose my place in the queue. So I was like puzzled, like I don't know what to do, and then finally they left. And it was like maybe I was 12, and then when I was 16, when I was coming out of school on Saturdays, I would go to my grandmother's for lunch, because afternoon we had no school. And I loved that, and on the way there was some young students, I mean elder than me, distributing or making survey to other students. And like first week, second week, third week, I started to become interested. What are they doing? And then I slowed down my speed, and I started to understand they're asking questions about the war, the alcohol, the whatever, like violence, all these things. And then I was like in myself starting to think those questions. And then on one of these Saturday, I saw that after the questions, they would present a book. And I was already into books because my father always nourished me with interesting books. The first one was Telemaque, the story of this Greek son of Ulysse. And it was a full adventure. And then he nourished me with books like that, which were full of philosophy and full of asking questions, you know. And so he was nourishing me very well. And then when I saw that they have a book, I was wanting to know what is that. So I was praying that one day they stop me, because each time they were stopping elders than me, like 20, 25, and like this. And one day, finally, they stopped me. I was 16.
So you was the chosen one that day.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. I was ecstatic. And the person was a young woman, elder sister. And she was seeing that young man enthusiastic. And she just quickly asked me the questions, understanding that like this secondary for this one, you have to give the book. And she put the book in my hand, opening it, and it was the Sanskrit in that Gita, was the Sanskrit letters. And she showed me beautiful paintings into it. You may have seen that Bhagavad Gita. It's quite famous. And when I saw the Sanskrit, it was like, wow, it's a magical formula. In my mind, already, boom, magical formula. And then I knew through the stories, the books I was reading, that some sages, they make gold out of something, and they fly in the sky, whatever. You know, I was like very attracted to that. Very creative. And so when she said, she saw my face and she knew that I was interested in the book, and would you like to have the book? I said, oh yes. And then, yes, then you can have it. And that's all. I was like puzzled. Oh, nothing more. So easy. And then she said, oh, but if you like, you can give something. So I looked in my pocket. It was few coins. And then I gave that. I was so happy. I was dancing on the way back to my grandmother's house. I showed her the book. And my grandmother was like coming from a Jew family, non-rigid. She accepted to convert herself to Christianity. For her, it was just a branch of their Jew belief. And when she saw the book, she said that she liked it because it was speaking about God. And then for me was like a very important point, because then I kept the book like the statue, the little statue. I have to admit that I was opening and I was not understanding. It was too high philosophical presentation. In my concept were not yet open to that.
Yeah. This is the thing. Like I would just wants to add here. Like, what is the difference between a spirituality and religion? Religion prohibit you to ask a question. You cannot ask a question on religion. Like you can ask like where Jesus Christ was born, and you can ask something, but you cannot ask something which goes against their ideology. And in spirituality, that everything starts with a question. So that's why they ask you first question. They see,
yes,
okay, this person is ready to be spiritual or not.
Yeah.
And in this country, the most of the books, like you got the book Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. This is also a question and answer asked with the Krishna and Arjuna.
It's a dialogue.
So this is like all the books in this country which you find, which are most valuable books. They are the books of question and answers.
Yes.
They are not a preaching. They are not somebody saying and others are listening. They are the books when somebody is asking why it is so.
Yes.
And it is being answered by somebody who had this knowledge. So this is the beautiful difference between a spirituality and on the religion. And what I understood why Western people are coming to the East to learn all this, because they feel this freedom of asking questions.
Yes.
And in West, you don't have this freedom of asking question. People leave the religion for asking the question, but here you don't have to leave anything. You can still ask a question.
Yes. At any point of your development.
Yeah.
And even in what is my experience is that even the ABC questions can be asked again and again, because we will see it from a different point of view due to our experience. So it's very enlivening and giving a lot of wealth, inner wealth, to build up our life. And this is all about that. When you were speaking about family, I like very much, because this is what I saw my father, mother did. They built up their life both together in the family. They were wanting to build up a nest from which we could come out and come back when we want. It was not a force that you have to be in the family and you have to serve the family, dedicate to the family. No, it was just a free choice. And in the Gita, what I found later when I started to study it, because you're speaking about that inspiration, like at that point, after the statue, the Shiva, and then the Bhagavad Gita, my mind was like, okay, I will go. I will go to that country, where it comes from.
Why it is pulling me?
We had also this beautiful book of, I don't remember the name, an English guy, he wrote a book like Mowgli and all this story. It was like also very much touching me.
The Jungle Book.
Jungle Book.
Yeah.
The Jungle Book. And also we had movies coming, like translated into French. So all these books of adventure, traveling the world, discovering treasures, which are formulas inside the big pile of gold or whatever. There is a message, and then it's more than the gold. It's something that brings you upper and upper, or deeper.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and it's built up with this spirit of family, because the searcher also, they help each other on the way.
Yeah, this is the most important thing which you have to try to understand, that the world is becoming sad every day, not because that the things are getting worse. Things are getting better. Human has never lived a so comfortable life as we are living together in the history of human. We are living one of the most comfortable life in a physical manner. But we are the one of the most depressed human born on the earth till now.
Aha.
Why it is happening? Because the family is lost.
Yes.
And wherever the family is there, like in West, there is a problem that there is no family. In the East, there is another problem that family is super suppressed.
Aha.
They are suppressing you so much, they are controlling you so much, they want to decide everything about you, that you lose your own freedom of understanding and deciding.
Aha.
So I will say that the family means a community is needed. It means when you are offering unconditional love and support to your people,
Aha.
whom, let it be your friends, your parents, your children, your brothers and sisters.
Whoever.
If you are not offering unconditional love and care, it cannot build a family.
Yeah.
And it does not need to have a tied up relationship. It is, family is not a contract relationship.
Never.
You know, like you are going to a court and you sign on a paper that she is my wife, I am her husband. It is not a contract thing. It is a thing where you decide that I will provide this unconditional love and unconditional care to these people who are around me.
Yeah.
And then only this family spirits can come. World is losing the family, and I will say you by my experience by traveling so much in the world, that this world will die not because of terrorism, this world will die not because of poverty or hunger, this world will die because of depression. And depression comes when you are alone, when there is nobody with you to talk to you, to support to you, to guide to you, to hug you and say you, don't worry, I am there with you.
Yeah. Yes.
And that is where bhaktas find a deep connection with God, who is always there with them and always help them in their path.
Yes.
So
Yes.
my next question is like, how, when you came to India, like how you find your master, you know, like.
Oh yeah, it was like quite a story, because then finally when I was 22, I met a woman of my age who told me, let's go to India. She was accustomed. And when she said that, I fell in love with her. Like,
women are the support, and women are the root of all good things in the world. This is very important point to be noted.
Yes, yes. Like, because the family, you were speaking about the family, and for me, I never left this concept.
Yeah.
Family, I mean, my family, we were friends.
Yeah.
My father and mother, they were telling that.
Yeah.
That why? Because they were already like quite of exception, many divorce, or many family were holding together because have to, but by duty, but not by love.
Yeah.
And they were already saying aloud to other friends or family members that it's because they are the best friends they could ever be.
This is very important.
Like my father, mother were expert to work on the same art piece. They were artists together.
Wow.
It's very rare among artists, you know, a piece of art made by two persons.
Yeah.
It's very rare.
I remember from this two of my Russian friends. They came to my ashram in Maharashtra, and these was two ladies. One was 23 and another was 22, something like same age. And they painted one on one wall Kali and another wall Shiva. And they was like opposite to each other. And you know, like they was working like like they was like just going, somebody is painting eyes, then another woman comes, she was painting a beard of Shiva, then this lady goes and paint the breast of the Kali, and then this lady comes back and painting like clothes of Shiva. So it was like, when watching this was like a magical experience, because there was two paintings made by two people, but one person did not make one painting. It was made by both people in the same time. In the same time. And like concept, you know, like at least for Kali they had like a picture from internet. And they was not Hindus, they are not connected to all this spirituality and all these things. They were just simple Catholic people, you know. And when they painted Shiva, they didn't even had a picture for it.
Wow.
They just painted from their head, and it was like wow, it was wow picture, you know. Like I have this picture on my Instagrams. If you like, you can just go and see
wow.
it.
Wow.
It's a very beautiful picture.
I want to see it. Because that is the spirit.
Yeah.
What Bhagavad Gita revealed to me, because then I started to study, because on the way we could not cross. In Greece we were blocked, it was some war, maybe in Iran or whatever. And she went to another story. I came back to Paris with the idea, okay, I would sell one of my musical instruments and fly to India.
Wow.
But when I arrived in Paris, the Hare Krishna were there again on my way. And they gave me a pamphlet, and then I went back to home. I read the pamphlet, and there was an invitation to a restaurant, and they were proposing to eat vegetarian. And I was like, interesting. My father was not interested into meat. My mother was meat eater, but my father, he was like not too much interested. So I wanted to understand my father better. What is that behind? So I wanted to go to meet them, and I went. And then they convinced me that I should come for a weekend retreat to their farm or whatever. And then I liked the idea, it's a farm. It's not a temple, you know, like I'm not very religious person, in fact.
I totally understand. I also say we are not religious people, that's why we are able to talk.
Yeah, and I'm a person of ideal. So I'm looking for my ideal. So the ideal for me was to find again and again those important sustainers or equilibrated points for my crossing this life. So it was very interesting to see that people have same spirit, they work together. So I could see that in my father, mother. I could see that practically with my brother. We had a relation like this. We were playing music. We were not in need to explain what we're going to do. It was clear all the time. Like he would change some notes. I would understand why I would do the counter part. And it was very composed, very beautiful. People would like it very much. And so when I met the Hare Krishna people, I went for a study. I said, okay, let's see for a weekend. At the end of the weekend, there were still a lot of things I wanted to discover. So I said, let's stay 1 week. And then I stayed 1 month. And then I decided, okay, I need to give 6 months. And after 6 months, I said, okay, let's surrender.
Let's surrender.
Study until I find all the secret into that. It took 5 years.
This is the way how the nectar pulls you.
Yep.
It gives you a chocolate. Then it gives you a big chocolate, and then you get addicted, and then it takes you.
Yes.
It doesn't give you, it takes you.
But
So
like for me, it was like very interesting because I was seeing couples practicing together with the same kind of love like my father, mother. I was seeing people who were like brahmacharis, no couple, sannyasis. We were happy. And for me, it was like I saw the monks and in my religion, they were not happy. Then I was so curious, what? Then I was digging, reading, studying, and then I was proposed to go and distribute this knowledge. And it was a very interesting experience, like knocking at the door of whoever, like we were systematic, like you take this building, I take this building, and the other one takes another building, and knocking. So we are all type of people. That was very interesting experience because like it made me clear that people have different ideas, but totally different. And they had idea about God, so they were seeing us dressed in this party. I mean, you have the feeling, you know, like we were dressed normal, but something different. And with the book, and they were saying, oh no, you know, opening, oh no, I'm not believing in God. So some like were wanting to argue, like no, but God don't exist, and I don't like God, whatever. And I was asking questions. Oh, what is the God you don't like or you don't believe? And the answer I was saying, oh, but I totally agree with you. The God you believe cannot exist. So they were surprised. What is this? What do you believe then? And then dialogue. And through dialogue, I could inspire people to take the book and I give a chance, read it until, and that was very going with the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita you were saying. Like Krishna at the point he say, okay, this is, I presented you all these, and now you decide. Free choice. And then in the purport he was explaining, the sadhu, Swami Prabhupada was explaining like it's a free choice. We are made of free choice. Then it was giving me a deeper understanding. Yes, this is what I want. I don't want something imposed. Like, oh, like my father, mother, nothing was imposed. Inspiration. So then I was working with that, and then at that time they had some difficulty in the ashram and in the world. I left them. It was 5 years of study with them, and I decided, okay, now my study is in the field. So, it's the time to go to India. So I bought a ticket. I went with the brother, elder brother, because he knew the important points in India. He had gone there. And I didn't want just to go freely in India and follow the flow. I wanted to go to those points where I can meet more advanced sadhus, where I can learn something from. Because it was alchemical. I knew that I had a formula to discover, and I had to mix some ingredients, and out of that receive or see or manifest some type of gold. And I was starting to understand this alchemy, it is inside. I may do it outside also. It was in my research in the Christian alchemist. They were preparing with the different ingredients in different ways, but they were in the prayer, they were saying with that. They were saying that actually it's in the heart. It's an alchemy of the heart. So very quickly I reached to Vrindavan, our first destination.
When it was like?
It was in 1986.
Wow.
September. Then we had the Kartik month, and I discovered all these stories going here and there, where Krishna had this lila, that lila, and I was liking the Krishna because the presentation was he was a child, and his childhood he had this, that, so many stories, and very attractive also, very funny.
So how was Vrindavan 36 years ago?
Oh my God! Like not so much buildings.
Definitely.
Not so much concrete on the roads, no asphalt. Everything was sand or mud, clay. Everything was so beautiful because Mother Nature was proeminent. The trees were big trees. There was a lot of trees. And the sadhus were not running after us to ask 1 rupee, 2 rupee. The children were doing, but not the sadhus.
Depending, it's a metaphor because like who will decide who is the sadhu?
Yes. Yeah.
A real sadhu will never do that.
No, he's giving. The real sadhu is ready to give. And he is even ready to give his life. And that was amazing because when I left, because I had not met the writer of the Bhagavad Gita and other books, and it was like I wanted to meet someone like him.
So at that time Prabhupada was not alive?
He was not alive.
He was not alive.
And it was very amazing because when I was on book distribution, he came to me sometime. Mystically, like I understood it's Prabhupada, like he did it. Like I was having difficulty to explain because I was not knowing so much about the Bhagavad Gita, and the concept was still new, not really practiced. But he was wanting so much these books to be distributed all over the world that in his mystical form he would come and help us to distribute. So we had when we would meet in the evening, stories to say about how I distribute that Bhagavad Gita, how I distribute that Srimad Bhagavatam, that Shri Upanishad, that the books we had to distribute. It was like,
Wow.
Unbelievable. You know, story is incredible. People really like this. One day we will have a serial.
So you see, like we have a very interesting person with us, with whom we are discovering the ancient India. The most important thing which you need to understand from this, like happiness is the only criteria of what you are doing. Whatever you are doing in life, it's making you happy, it means you are on the right path. But if you are not happy, let you be the priest of the temple, let you be the Brahmin inside the Bake Bihari Ji. But if you are not happy, you are just wasting your life. It's not going to do anything with you.
Yes.
So make this thing very clear. Don't do some things which is not bringing happiness to you. Try to listen to your heart, try to listen to your God, try to listen to your soul, and try to learn to do the things which makes you joyful, healthy and wealthy. So we will see you in the next episode with my friend. Namaste and thank you to you all.